participants meet followers. Okay.
You want to turn it the other way? And then full screen, yeah.
Sideways.
You tell me, yeah, let's just do it the way you know.
Okay, we are recording. You're recording?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Testing. Okay, tell everyone, good Erev Shabbat. This week's Parsha of Kiteitzei, as you are all aware, is filled with mitzvot. There are 74 mitzvot in the Parsha. So that's more than 10% of the mitzvahs of the Torah appear in one Parsha. There's one mitzvah which raises a fundamental question regarding all of the mitzvot. And that mitzvah, the Torah says, Ki yikor lecho kan tzipor. If you happen to come across a nest of a bird and you want to take the eggs, or you want to take the small chicks, and you want to raise them at home. So the Torah says you're allowed to take the eggs and or the chicks, but you have to send the mother away. Shaleach tishalach etzai, then vabonim tikach lecho. So the mitzvah of shiluach hakan, of sending the mother away, is one of these 74 mitzvahs. This mitzvah raised a great concern amongst Chazal because it touches on a fundamental issue that I hope to discuss the next few minutes. Are there any reasons for mitzvah? Is there any logic to mitzvah? Can any mitzvah be explained rationally? Or are all mitzvot in one way or another they're commandments that God told us to do so you do it. Person goes for a checkup by a doctor, and the doctor tells him what to do. And he says, your potassium is low, this is low, eat this, take this pill. You don't ask him, what grade did you get in third year medical school or in pharmacology? You don't ask any of these questions. The doctor told you what to do it. Baruch Hashem, 95, 99% of the time, that certainly is the correct way to do it. So that's a chok. You don't understand what it means that your potassium is low or high. You don't understand what the drug does or doesn't. You don't understand why he told you to eat this and not to eat that. You never went to medical school. But the doctor told you to do it. And it seems to work. Because the next time you take a test, he tells you your potassium is fine. So wonderful. The mitzvot fall under that same category, so to speak. The creator of human beings had, so to speak, a manual of instructions that goes along with the human beings. You know, when you buy an electrical item or anything like that today, you get a whole book with it. You never read it. If you, for instance, for a prescription, they give you a drug, and inside the box is always a 2 or 3 page description of the drug and its side effects. You never read it. If you read it, you'd never take the drug. So too, the Havdul, that God is the creator, and he gave us a manual what to do. The manual has, in this week's chapter, 74 mitzvahs to do them. You don't know the side effects. You don't know what went into the manual. You don't know why, what, just do it. Or we say that human beings are intelligent creatures. We have creativity within ourselves. That's the piece of God that's within us. Our ability, God gave us an ability to create. So we can create technologically, we can create mentally, we can imagine, we can communicate. That's the piece of God that's within us. That's the bracha that we make. Asher yotzaras odom b'tzalmo, b'tzelem d'mus tav liso. God created us as he is, so to speak. What does it mean as he is? As he is the creator of everything. And there's no limit to his creativity. And the gift that he gave to man, which separates human beings from other species of life on this planet, is that man has the ability to be creative. You can think. Well, if God gave us that ability, then would it not be logical to say that if he gave us mitzvot, he wanted us to think about it? He didn't want us to be robots. He wanted us to find meaning in every mitzvah. So then what does the mitzvah teach us? Why is it this way? So there are two opposing views within Jewish scholarship, within Jewish tradition, which does not come as a surprise to anyone. And Elu ve'elu divrei Elohim chayim. They're both right. There's a Mishnah in Brachos that says, regarding this mitzvah of Shiluach Hatan, send the mother away before you take the chicks. The mother shouldn't be there to see it. Why? What difference does it make? What's the whole purpose here? It's a mitzvah that boggles the mind. So the Gemara says that there were those that used to say, the Mishnah says, Al kan tzipor yagiu rachamecha. just as your mercy extends even to the nest of the bird, that the mother should not see that someone is taking away her eggs or her chicks. So therefore the Torah instructed us, send the bird away. It should not be there to see it, because God is the symbol of mercy. So too have mercy upon us. So that Mishnah advances the idea that people have that there's a reason for this mitzvah. The reason for the mitzvah is that God is merciful. So that's a nice thought, but how do we convert that into action, into behavior, into the reality of our being? So you have to do a mitzvah. So here's the mitzvah. We have Aim Rovetzis ala Beitzim, the mother bird is hovering over the nest. You send the mother bird away if you want to take anything from the nest. So the Gemara says, the Mishnah says, Mashtikin also. Anyone that says that, we tell him to be quiet. Don't say that. Don't say that Kansi Por has anything to do with heavenly mercy. It's not the reason. And therefore, don't draw any analogies to how human beings should behave, etc. And they say, if you wanted to say that the reason is you don't want to cause pain to the mother, we have a din from the time of Noah yet, of Tsar Balechayim. You're not allowed to cause pain to animals for no reason. So therefore, Kan Tzipor, the nest of the bird, is a mystery. It's a mitzvah, like 8 strings on tzitzis, like black boxes on film, like hearing the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. It's a mystery. And you have to learn how to live with mystery. Part of the Jewish experience is, so to speak, not to know why you're doing these things. So this gave rise, so that's a Mishnah, right? That more. So it would seem that that would be the way to go. The way to go is the doctor told you to take the pill, take the pill. However, and it's a big however, the great thinkers of Israel, the great Talmidei Chachamim of Israel, especially beginning in the early Middle Ages and till our day, have taken a different slant on it. And so to speak, their slant is that whatever understanding we can have in human terms regarding any of the mitzvot, so we agree there are certain mitzvot that are beyond our understanding. We spoke last night about Yibum, about Pura Aduma, about Shatnez. Okay, there are certain mitzvahs that everybody agrees are off the board. It's just straight, take the pill. But on the other mitzvahs, we can explain tefillin. We can explain tzitzis. It's a uniform that God told us to wear. Modest dress. We can explain all the rules of incest and adultery, etc. All of it we can explain. And if you go the route of Kabbalah, so then almost everything can be explained, because now you're moving to a different plane, to a different level of understanding. So maybe in this world you didn't get it, but if you think about it in terms of another world, you'll see, oh, that's what it does. So, for instance, the Gemara says that if you eat, God forbid, non-kosher food, so the Gemara says, it gives you cardiac problems. The Gemara does not necessarily mean that a person will have, if he eats non-kosher food, we will have a heart attack, God forbid. In fact, there's a lot of kosher food on Shabbos that bring people. What the Gemara means, though, however, is that spiritually it affects you. So it stops up your heart. So the next time somebody asks you for charity, you say, no, I'm not interested in charity. I'm not interested in inviting guests. I'm not interested in what other people need. I'm for myself. So that is a direct result of eating non-kosher food, the Gemara says. Well, that's a good piece of logic, right? Again, it's like the doctor tells you, don't eat, don't take too much salt, because of the fact that that will do you harm. So you understand what the doctor's talking about as you eat herring. So there's an understanding. So there are famous works called Tamei HaMitzvot, the reasons for the mitzvot. Which is not what the Mishnah that we discussed regarding the bird seems to follow. The Mishnah regarding the bird says, Mashpikit also. Be silent, don't say reasons. And here you have, the classic example, there are a few of them. You have the Rambam in the Moreh Nevuchim, where he goes to enormous lengths to explain mitzvahs. Sometimes he's so rational that he's irrational. But in his world, the mind of the great scholar, of the great pillar of Israel, so he sees reasons. And he wants to share them with you. And he says it's important to think this way. And the Rambam has a basic axiom that really all the mitzvahs only come to separate us from avodah zarah, from paganism, from a false understanding of God. That's what all the mitzvahs come to do. That's their purpose. Their purpose is not to define God, but to exclude all the wrong definitions of God. So you can't think of God as a nice old man with a beard that's benevolent, he's the Elter Zayed. You can't think of God as an avenger, and you can't think of God as whatever you think of, you're wrong. And the mitzvahs come to reinforce that to you. So there's a basic reason for all of this. There's a famous sefer on Torah called Sefer HaChinuch. Some say it's Rabbi Aaron HaKohen that wrote it. It's a very famous sefer. It goes through every parsha of the year, and it lists all 613 mitzvahs. And it says who is obligated in the mitzvah and who is not obligated in the mitzvah. And then it explains the mitzvah. So here you have a whole book devoted to explain the mitzvah. And then throughout Jewish history and Jewish scholarship, Hasidic masters, the Balei Musar and the yeshiva world, the rabbis, when you're giving a sermon, so to speak, God forbid, so you're explaining the mitzvah. You're trying to make something abstract real, so that whoever hears it, somehow it'll make an impression and strengthen the observance and the understanding of it. So you have here two completely different streams. And as I mentioned, the stream of explaining is far stronger, maybe out of necessity. I don't think we could have survived the exile without the drush, without the sermons, without the essays, without all of that. I don't think we could have survived just on the basis of just take the pill. And therefore, in every generation, there are different attitudes and different insights. And all of this is added to this great mountain, which we call Torah Shebaal Peh, the oral law, which is the living law of being a Jew. And then we piled upon that, if that wasn't enough, we piled upon it what we call customs, minhagim. We're coming now to the month of minhagim, so to speak, the month of Tishrei. So to most people, dipping the apple in the honey equals listening to the shofar, even though it doesn't say anywhere that you're supposed to dip an apple in honey. But a custom, the famous quip of Rabbi Yaakov Emden, that he said that if he would do it all over again, he would make the commandment of lo tignov, of not to steal. He said he would remove it as a commandment and make it a custom. Because that would do it. So you have here this psychological view of the Torah and of mitzvahs. And in our time, all the great Hasidic masters wrote books that explained it. The Kabbalah explains it on its level. Different communities explain it differently. But the danger remains there. Reform was based upon the fact that the mitzvahs no longer made sense. They couldn't explain it. Because so they said, you couldn't eat the products of pigs because it would give you trichinosis. But if it doesn't give you trichinosis, then why can't you eat it? The danger of giving a reason is that one generation's reason is another generation's error. The Rambam, when he wants to say that something is impossible, so the Rambam says, Kisfinas barzel aporeach boavir, like a boat made out of iron that somehow flies in the air. So to the Rambam, that was an impossibility. To us, we pay money for that. So that's the danger. If you say just take the pill, then just take the pill. Ham does not cause trichinosis. It's got nothing to do with trichinosis. So you can't change the dietary laws. But if you say the Sabbath is you need a day off to relax, makes perfect sense, right? So then I can go to the beach and I can go to the movies and I can go to the soccer game and I can do whatever I want. That's my relaxation. But if you say that Shabbat is not only that, so then you're really doing what the doctor said. The doctor told you to take a day off. So that's an ever-present problem. And that's why you see many times people write essays about the Parsha, about mitzvahs. Most of the time, it's a value. Some of it is absolutely banal, ridiculous. Better off not to. And in the Torah, there out of the 613 mitzvahs, there are so many mitzvahs that challenge our rationality. So how do we explain the plague of tsaras, for instance? And why do we have animal sacrifices? Yet, when we perform mitzvahs, in the performance of the mitzvah, we say the reason, it's Zeicher L'Maaseh Bereishis, it's Zeicher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's his purpose. The Pesach Seder is to relive Pesach, the first Pesach, not this one in the hotel. So that is a conundrum that exists. Therefore, the Rashba says in one of his classic statements, Tachlis hayediyah hi shelo neda. The ultimate knowledge is that we don't know. That's true in science, it's true in medicine, certainly true in finance and in government. The experts aren't experts. We've had the ultimate proof of that over the past few years in so many fields. Follow the science. And 1 million people died. So tachlis hayediyah shelo neda. So that puts us back to where the Mishnah said, don't say what the reason is for Kam Tzipor. It's an arrogance on your part to think that you know, that you went to medical school and you know more than the doctor. So I want to leave you with all of that to think about. Because Judaism is a very sophisticated religion. And it's a religion that lives with contradictions with difficulties, with things that are not logical to us, and with all of the 630 commandments. And that is really what makes us special. Not comparable to other faiths. Because in other faiths, everything has to make sense. Everything is removed or everything is mysterious. But we have this duality that we know that we want to understand and we'll try to understand, but we have to come to the realization at the end of the day, we may not understand. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And this Shabbat, there's no Pirkei Avos by me in Shul. I'm out of town for the day. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, have a good time. I can see you very close.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. Thank you. Yeah. You have to be. You have to say, look. Take that. Because the beginning may not.